Here.
Nate? Here. Travis and Sarah both gone. Pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I need a motion for the consent agenda.
Motion.
Got a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Public input. This is the time and place for discussion items not already on the agenda with a time limit of 3 minutes each.
Come on up.
Hi,
Hi there.
so I'm Amanda Tice. I live on the corner of Washington and 3rd Avenue. My husband is here as well, and our neighbor. And we are we wanted to chat with you folks a little bit or express some concerns about at the last meeting, the discussion around the sports complex with phase 1 having the entrance be along 3rd Avenue. I know for my husband and I, we just are really concerned that that road is just not built in a way, it's not set up in a way that is conducive to a lot of traffic. I would really invite you guys to just come hang out, and I'd be happy to chat with you in my backyard and show you some of our concerns, but it's only about, it's a really short width, it's not even 2 full lanes width right now, and I know it was discussed, maybe needing to make it wider, but that would have a lot of impact on the 4 houses that are along that road. For us specifically, our garage was approved whenever it was built to be very close to that road, and so our driveway is already it's barely 1 car's length. And so if that road was expanded, I don't even know if we could park a full car in our driveway. I'm really concerned, and especially if you make that a main entrance, things like parking along that road, I don't know how you could possibly have any parking along our road. Expanding it would impact a lot of things related to our property lines and utilities, things like that. I don't know how you would add a sidewalk if we wanted to have any sort of walking traffic, which I think you would want. We're really excited about the project. We think it's a great project, but I have a lot of concerns about just expanding that road, making it a main entrance for that space. And we've been trying to be involved in this process ever since we moved into that home. And the whole time we've been told that that was not going to be a main entrance, so we just wanted to express our concern. I also, from my understanding, the project is designed to bring people into town, to help them see, Main Street businesses, things like that. And I think I heard in the recording from the last meeting, GPS takes you along Washington anyway. But is that where we really want more traffic? Is just cruising down Washington, or do we want people to come into the city, maybe go on Main Street, maybe see more businesses? I think I have a lot of concerns about making that, so we just wanted to express that.
Thank you. And we're just in the very early stages of this. I mean, we haven't decided, yes, it's going to go down 3rd Avenue. No, it's not going down 3rd Avenue.
Sure.
Is it going to go up Walnut? Is it Walnut? Walnut Street. I mean, one of the options might also be, because you got to have 2 exits. One of them might be bringing them in over on Jefferson, and then maybe bring them out 3rd Avenue. I mean, so you don't have traffic going both ways, it just goes one way, out. So, I mean, that, like I said, we're just in the very early stages of this.
Right, and we understand that, but if it's even being explored as an option now, I think we want to make all 4 houses along there.
And
are
I'm
pretty
glad you
concerned.
guys came up and said something, I mean,
Yeah.
and that was one of our concerns, is how we could make it wider. I mean, that was.
It's going to be hard.
Well, and we're concerned that 3 out of the 4 houses, between the 3 of us, we have 5 kids under 5.
Yeah,
now
and it's
maybe,
our backyard.
in the summer, that would be a pretty major road at that
Yeah.
point,
Be very busy.
with tournaments and everything.
I was not here for the last meeting, so I wasn't not part of that conversation. I know it's been part of the conversation since the beginning of it. I personally would not be in favor of having that street as a main entrance or exit to the complex. But this council, as it sits right now, is not going to be the council that's going to be making that decision. They're in an election November
Oh, okay.
2nd, I think, or something like that.
Yes.
And so there'll be at least 2, maybe 3 new council members sitting up here. So I would encourage you to come back after the election and make sure that everybody sitting up here knows what you're saying again.
Good to know.
The reason it's getting looked at is solely cost. So they're throwing the numbers together as just so we have something. Once we have those, then we would look at property lines and stuff like that at that point.
Okay.
So if it's not gonna be that big a cost savings, I don't foresee it happening. The plan is we'd have to redo the street, the sidewalk would go in there, and we'd also have to do water and sewer through there too. So, when we get those rough numbers, we can, and we are even remotely close to leaning that way. I know Brandon and myself will reach out to you guys and we'll have that conversation before it gets into the
Before it
council
gets
meeting.
Because is it already in the plans to like add curbs and gutters to that road in the spring? Because we thought we saw that too, and we were like, oh, even that's a surprise to us.
No, no.
Okay. No, not right.
No, so if we were to do that, that street would be either an asphalt or concrete street with curb and gutter on.
Okay.
So like I said, we gotta figure all those additional costs in before we get to that point.
And that's the biggest challenge with the sports complex, is it is a multi-million-dollar project.
Sure.
And obviously, nobody wants to do it halfway. So we're,
Well, in addition to that is, with the younger, the younger neighbors that have just moved in, they were also told that, this would never be part of that.
We had that
sports complex.
discussion
So
right
that
when we
was-
were looking at the house.
I don't
So did
know
the
who would have ever
McCain's.
told you that, because I couldn't tell you that. I mean, this council
Right.
in 10 years
But it wasn't
could be
the
making
plan.
that
Right,
decision.
it
you know what I
wasn't
mean?
in the.
It wasn't in the plan, I guess.
But all I'm saying is, even if the city wasn't building a sports complex there, somebody else could build something there and come to petition the city to make that a through street. I mean, there's no way that anybody could ever guarantee you that that's never gonna be a through street.
Sure.
And sitting up here today, we can't guarantee you that, because in a year, a different council, in 5 years, whatever, another council could make a completely different decision. And that is what's gonna happen. When that stage of the complex gets ready to go, there is going to be another council sitting up here that's gonna make that decision.
Okay.
And I would have a real big concern about the lighting that's eventually going to come into that complex as well. So, we'll do that. Yeah. Absolutely.
Can you put a phone number down by your name?
Sure.
So we-
I mean, it's good to hear from the people that's gonna be around this complex.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't foresee the baseball part happening real soon, unless somebody donates some buttload of money. But we are going to start with the soccers.
Yeah, and that's
And
great.
it'll be
We're excited about it,
a
but.
year and a half from now before we even let kids play on them. I mean,
Sure.
We gotta let them get the seating in and everything, so. And I mean, they ain't gonna start, the earliest they're gonna start that spring, so.
And I would imagine, just like with the city park, as far as the lights, if the lights eventually go up there or whatever, again, it's gonna be a council decision. There will be some kind of restrictions as to how late they can be on and things like that. Like at the city park, the lights have to be shut off at like 10:30 at night. So I mean, there's certain things with the lights, where it can't be. So I would guess that it would follow
Right.
pattern.
Because I believe Mount Vernon had an issue with that in their new housing area with the lights and the ball diamond lights and all those type of things.
Well, I mean, if it's put in place that, council at that time decides lights have to be off by 10 o'clock, they will be on by 10 o'clock. If that's what they decide. There won't be an issue as far as getting them shut off when the time comes. It's just, whether or not that happens. And how many lights, we're not gonna put a full system out there. They're very, very expensive. So we're gonna basically be using some leftovers that we have from the city park now that got damaged during derecho, and move them out there is what it will look like. And it won't be a full system. And again, that's probably more for the baseball fields, which is probably 4 or 5 years down the road at least.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else?
Nope, we're good.
Thank you guys very much. Discussion and possible action, on removing lien from residential property. Christina?
This was a forgivable loan that was done a few years back in 2006 actually. And the property owners just looking to sell the house, it came up while they were getting their final paperwork done, so we just need to release this so that way they can clear off the title for them.
Motion to remove the lien.
A motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Nate?
Nate?
Aye.
Stephanie?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
Discussion and possible action on approving bid for Business 30 sidewalk improvements. Nate, did you get these?
I did not get them, actually. Oh, no, yeah, they're in the packet, I saw them.
Are these new, Christina, though? Because
As I
these
said,
have-
the paper ones that you guys have, he doesn't have, they were sent from Dave today.
Yeah, these have an October 11th date.
Yeah.
The sidewalk improvement, Nate, we received 2 bids. One was for $35,232, the other one was for $68,770.
Dave's on.
Those match what's in the packet from Midwest Concrete and from Boomerang.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep, so I saw just the summary total, that's it, from Beestra and Kemp.
did you see that the estimate for the project was 24,000?
I do not have that.
Okay, so the engineer's estimate for the project was 24,000, so the low bid is 46.8% above the engineer's estimate.
Okay.
And Dave is on, if you guys have questions.
Well, Dave, do we have any options?
We've been trying to work on trails, sidewalks, and so forth for quite some time, and we kind of have a hit or miss type of a situation. We've rejected bids several times, so we're having a hard time keeping bidders interested on these smaller projects. When we look at this project combined with the patch project is significantly under the estimate, and this one is over the estimate. But when we look at them together, that's about what we thought it should be. So our recommendation is, in order to get this done and move forward with the overlay, that we proceed with both of these, but we'll take them one at a time.
No questions for?
Well, with that being said, we've gone extensively trying to get local contractors to bid this, and, I mean,
Nobody will do it.
well, yeah, I mean, and like Dave said, this starts even with no box trail.
Yeah.
We've bid and not done it, so.
So Dave, I just want to make sure that I'm reading this right, because on, I'm looking at the patch thing, and I know that that's next, but I want to, before I make a motion, I want to know what I'm talking about. So on the patch one, Midwest Concrete does not come in with the low bid.
That's correct. And
So-
they're still willing to honor their bid for the sidewalk.
So are you saying that we would use 2 different contractors?
Yes.
And what does alternate bid mean?
Alternate bid is for the patch project, the turn lane at Washington, as we're heading east. That's a southbound turn lane onto Washington. We were going to widen that, and as you can see, there's a pretty significant cost to do that.
Yeah,
And knowing that, we had decided to pull that out and bid it separately, so we could decide whether we wanted to proceed with that, and it's our recommendation not to do that.
okay. So the $68,000 that was your estimated cost, that was just for the base bid?
Correct.
Okay. So 68 and 24 is 92. And together these come in at 76. I make a motion to approve the Business 30 Sidewalk Improvements Project to Midwest Concrete with the bid amount of $35,232.
I will second.
Got a motion and a second. John?
Aye.
Stephanie?
Aye.
Nate?
Aye.
All right. Discussion and possible action, approving bids for Business 30 patch repairs. Pretty much same thing.
Make a motion to approve the base bid for Cedar Falls Construction Company for $41,494.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. John?
Aye.
Steph?
Aye.
Nate?
Aye.
Discussion and possible action on Business 30 overlay project and repairs.
Yes, so this is a follow-up to what I had mentioned earlier, that we wanted to get these patching projects and sidewalk project completed so that we could go back and take a look at the overlay. And as you recall, we had bid all of the work together earlier, and we seemed to have some pretty high prices on the patching. and some of the other work. So in order to try to separate this out, so we had just an asphalt contractor in town, they could go pretty quickly and not have to have a subcontractor or wait on some of this. We're looking to bid the overlay as a separate project, and we'd also like to have some discussion with Mount Vernon to see if they're interested in looking at going out at the same time in order to interest contractors. So this is more of just a discussion item to see if we are looking to proceed with putting that project back out to bid.
Yeah, and then would you reach out to Mount Vernon, or is that something you would want Brandon to do, or?
I can talk with them. I know the engineer over there.
Okay. Well, I would be in favor of you, having a talk with yourself about that and figure it out if it works, and then getting out for bid.
Okay.
When are these sidewalk improvement and patch repairs gonna be done?
The contractor indicated they were going to try to get them done this fall.
Okay.
For the sidewalk repairs at least, and I need to follow up with the patching contractor to see if they are under the same schedule. But they are both scheduled to be done early in the spring, and the asphalt plant won't open up until late April. So there's a decent amount of time before we would get ready for the overlay, just because that's when the material's available.
Dave, do you need a motion from us, like to go out for bids until a certain time or anything like that right now, or?
Just looking for direction to proceed.
Okay.
I would say put it out for bids. I mean, we can always approve a bid, because every day it ain't gonna get cheaper.
Yeah, I know.
We gotta do public hearing and stuff. so-
Yeah, that's why I wondered if you wanted a date.
I'll come back at the next meeting with an item to set the public hearing and bid date.
Okay, sounds great. John, are you on board with that?
Yes.
Nate?
Yeah, sounds good.
Correspondence, city engineer report. Dave, got anything?
I don't have anything additional.
Thanks.
Votes work.
We got another 38 stumps done. Along with that, we've got 30 trees that we planted that Robert Zohoric and the tree board got. So those are in place. I'm in the process of working with Marcia to get the final paperwork to Robert so we can get that sent off to the Trees Forever Committee. Sewer main repair on Washington Street and Business 30. We had a resident that had a backup. Well, in investigating everything, we saw that we had heavy grease buildup in the area. So we continued to camera, and we found on top of the grease buildup was a chunk of pipe that needed to be replaced that was in the process of failing. So we got that taken care of, and now we're gonna have that section of town cleaned again.
Was backup our fault, or?
No, it was, we couldn't say it was, and we couldn't say it wasn't. So, talking to the resident, we paid for his first Roto-Rooter call, and then, we went in there, Public Works wise, and helped clean up a little bit to try to ease some of that, and they were happy with that.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Yep. We've got roughly 90 tons of salt sitting there ready to go for winter. With our other order, that was our last year's salt order that we didn't use, and then we have our additional salt. We are more than prepared for that. The last thing we got is we've had some criminal mischief at the park. Kids going in, I'm assuming kids, I hope it's kids in.
We don't have a camera?
Not in the bathrooms.
Oh,
So, just if somebody's out and about and sees something down there, don't hesitate to call.
We have signs posted, I think, for Crime Stoppers, they could call that, be anonymous.
Right.
well, it's probably a TikTok challenge.
That's it.
I got a question. Can we maybe look at replacing the trees on Chile Lane? Those have got to be the ugliest tree lights.
Some of those trees,
Planted them.
so Brandon and I did a tree count, like he said, and some of those trees are coming out anyways, and then with our next tree grant, we can look at putting in different ones there. If you remember, those trees have been planted twice, so it wasn't the greatest form anyways to be put over there. But yeah, we can definitely look at that with our next grant.
Did you guys do yard waste today?
Johnson County did.
Johnson County, does it? We did brush last week, right?
Yep.
Anybody got anything for him? Thank you. Parks and Rec, you got anything from him?
No.
Police chief, or police department?
Just want to let everybody know, we're going to do a trunk or treat event at the Lester Bridge Center in Mount Vernon on October 23rd from 10 to 2 in partnership with the Wellness Coalition of Rural Lynn County. It's part of our drug take-back event, and then they'll be doing a trunk or treat with fire and ambulance, stuff like that, so.
Okay, I saw that and I was confused. So, yeah, you can drop off your old medications
Yep.
and something else. What is the other?
So it's just like the DA take-back events that we usually do. We got the box out here now. Since we put the boxes out, we've seen low attendance with the events going on. So we're trying to partner in different events where we've got people coming to other events and stuff like that.
And so then in addition to that, they can trunk or treat.
Yep, there'll be fire and ambulance, and there's a lot of other partners or business, anybody can sign up through the Wellness Coalition.
Okay.
And
So have you seen an
participate.
increase in the drugs here since we put that outside?
Yours is always full frequently, which is great. People are using it like crazy. Once in a while, a water bill payment gets put in there or something like that. But,
If it's cash,
I usually get called over to empty it then as it goes through, but you've had great response out of your box.
Good.
Unfortunately, when it's full, it's full. And so I usually take big garbage bags out of there a couple times, about once a month. We'll bag it.
That's another thing due to the Wellness Coalition.
Absolutely, yeah, they bought the box and put it in, so. No, just want to let everybody know that, so come over there and bring the kiddos.
and you want to say something about Malcolm?
Oh, yes, thank you for reminding me. So on behalf of the city of Lisbon, we had, for those that have not heard, Malcolm Kimball passed away. His service was Saturday down in Arizona. So on behalf of the city and the police department, we did send a letter and send some flowers down to recognize him for that. And then waiting to hear back to whatever services are there. But definitely I didn't realize, even knowing Malcolm for as many years as I knew him, that he began in 1972 for the city of Lisbon as a police officer, promoted to chief in 1974 from that time. So definitely a great tenure of service to the community, so it will be missed. Okay.
You got anything for Doug? Doug, would you talk a little bit about your DARE programs that are going on?
You bet. So we have started in the Lisbon
Just
School.
takes us down.
That's right, be waiting. No. We've started in the Lisbon School program, the 5th and 6th grade DARE program. Normally we do 5th because we had a COVID year last year. We chose to do 5th and 6th this year to catch those students up, and so we don't miss anybody. And then we'll also be implementing soon, Lisbon has agreed to expand their program into the junior high. We've done junior high in the Mount Vernon program for several years. It's a fun program with the 7th grade class as well, so it's interesting, definitely a lot more student engagement, conversations and stuff like that too, but it's always good to get back in and reconnect with them a couple years later as we go through, so we're going to throw that in the mix this year too. So 5th and 6th are underway already. Amy's in there doing those, and then Officer Gursky will be over to work with the 7th graders here pretty soon, probably too, as soon as we get schedules aligned from there. So, and then Amy will do the Mount Vernon program in the spring, 5th and 6th again, and then probably the 7th and 8th grade over there to catch them up. So big year this year for DARE for sure, because we're hitting 2 classes for each age bracket as it goes. So, but it'll be good. Thank you.
All right, I think I'm done.
All right.
I did forget, we did start putting rock around the edge of the pond too, and we are getting the level of that to start coming up, so we're working on that.
Ambulance director report. Fire chief. Brandon, leave anything for that?
Brandon included it in the packet. He had, the last page is the fire chief and city administrator report.
Council reports. Nate, you got anything?
No, I don't have anything. I'm hunkered down here at home.
Okay, you stay there.
Is he sick? Oh, well, he can.
He's cooking supper for the wife.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I'm cooking supper during my
Oh, there you go.
Stuff.
Well, I want to thank Robert's work and the tree board for what they're doing for the trees and all that. That's wonderful news. And then Travis, I want to thank you guys because that's above and beyond to go into somebody's house and help them clean up a backup like that. And so I appreciate you guys doing that for our residents. It just really does show how much you guys care. So thank you for that.
John?
According to my notes, we're expecting Red Cedar to perform at Heritage Hall this Saturday at 11 o'clock. You might check with the library to see if there's any last minute changes. I know due to COVID, there has been some. And thanks.
What is Red Cedar?
It's stringed instruments, more
Oh, okay.
classical music.
I was just checking because I saw that they canceled something today or changed something out.
That might be it too, actually.
Do you think it was?
I feel like it is, that they might have put that off till spring,
I did.
because I know I saw one too.
I didn't think it was music. I thought it was,
Something else.
And whoever was involved with the Halloween decorations, thank you for that, looks nice. And that's about all I have.
I don't really have much either. I watch world news and they're saying COVID cases are going down. We just need to stay vigilant on it and hopefully we get back to some normalcy here pretty soon. But just stay vigilant and protect yourselves. Anybody got anything else? What's up? Okay, we got new business, possible closed session pursuant Iowa Code, section 21.51I, to evaluate the professional competency of an individual whose appointment, higher performance, or discharge is being considered when necessary to prevent needless and irreparable injury to that individual's reputation and that individual's request for closed session. Chris, would you like to go into closed session?
Yes, please.
We're going to go into closed session, take a little break, go into closed session. Need a motion to go into closed session, actually.
motion.
Motion, do I second? John?
Aye.
Stephanie?
Aye.
Nate? Nate?
Aye, sorry.